Welcome to the selfgrowth.com show. My name is David Riklan, and I'm the founder of selfgrowth.com. Today, we'll be discussing the secrets of vibrant health at any age. To help us understand this topic, I'm excited to interview Diana Scanlan. Make sure to listen closely. We're going to be sharing a lot of information today. Before we get started, I want to take a couple of minutes and share some information about Diana and her background. Diana has a deep understanding of human suffering, which carries through to her healing sessions and wellness consultations. And she's caring, empathetic, and non-judgmental with her insights and recommendations. She has expertise in life force energy healing, the Reiki Master Usui system of natural healing, and is a certified life coach specializing in natural health and wellness. She's an associate member of the International Institute of Complementary Therapies and founding member of Impact Coaching. She's also the author of Lessons from Your Last Life, how they can help you in this one. Her website is, and I want you to mark this down, she's some things to check out on the website later. It's beingnaturallyhealthy.com. That's beingnaturallyhealthy.com. Diana, welcome to our show.
Thank you, David. Thank you for having me on the show.
You're welcome. I'm very excited. I know there's a lot of important information we're going to share. So let's jump right in. So first, very simple question. Why is it so important to have vibrant health?
Well, we're told, and the statistics are, that the essentials of a human being in this life are, first of all, water, food, and shelter. But I would like to add to that good health, because without good health, many people become depressed. If they're in pain, they become irritable, and it's impossible to live a fulfilled life if you are unwell at any age. Even young people can become sick.
Okay, we froze up for just a second over there. So I get that. So even young people, everybody gets sick.
Yes, they do. There are many causes of people getting sick, but the most important ones in these days, everybody is stressed. Everybody is so stressed with their everyday lives, too many things to do. It's chronic stress, and 90% of doctors' visits, the statistics show, are stress related. Now, there are many ways to deal with stress. One of them is connection with nature. Mm-hmm. So important. Walk out in nature every day, deep breathing, breathe deeply as you walk. Another one is a spiritual practice, whether you believe in a God, spirit, Buddha, your higher self, or even universal energies. Just a connection with spiritual help is very, very important. Meditation is one thing that I really am passionate about.
Sure.
I believe, even though many people say, I don't have time to meditate, you can meditate even when you're walking. Right. Just walk along, deep breathe, just calm your mind. Doesn't take a minute. But if you can spend 10 minutes in the morning or evening to meditate and just quiet your mind, you will find enormous benefit. It helps lower your blood pressure, helps you to sleep better. I can prove that myself. I have found great benefit from sleeping. My sleep patterns have improved enormously, as have many of those of my clients. You can do many, many things with meditation. It can help calm your mind, help your immune system, and generally will help your longevity in this life. Many people who have been meditated all their lives live to 80, 90, even longer than that, in good health.
Right.
And that is what's so important, I believe.
So one of the things you started with, and I see this all the time, is kind of the stress connection, where stress has an enormous impact on us, on our bodies, on our health, on our psyche, on virtually everything. And what I want to delve into with you is stress is clearly an area that impacts us. What are the main things that you see that really prevent us from achieving health and well-being throughout our lives? There's obviously a lot of things that are stopping us. We all want to be healthy. You mentioned it's kind of a core need of ours, food, clothing, sheltering, but health is so critical. There's a saying, if you don't have health, you don't have anything. So what's really preventing us from achieving, or most of us from achieving, health and well-being?
There are many things that we don't realize. These are what I call the secrets. Lack of forgiveness of other people and of yourself. This can cause your body to become ill, and it can cause enormous stress on your body. Self-forgiveness is incredibly important. Gratitude is another one. Even if you don't have much in your life, have gratitude for something every day. Have a little gratitude journal where you can jot down 2 or 3 things, or even 5 every day, of things you're grateful for, just little things. Maybe for the flowers that surround you, or for the sunshine, or even for the rain, which we need a lot of here at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But there are many other things which I find are very important to consider. And negative energies, negative thoughts are many of them. Negativity forms a very great barrier in our lives. We think about judgment of other people. This is a very big one that I have worked a long time on myself, as have many of my clients, just to get rid of negativity, negative thoughts, judgmental thoughts. I find that this is a huge benefit, and it does help people to increase. Going back to stress, these are a few things that I recommend to help with stress, apart from walking in nature, connection with the spiritual side of your being. A couple of things that I can recommend for you to try. And one is deep breathing. Breathe in for a count of 4, pause for a count of 4, breathe out for a count of 4, and wait again for a count of 4 before you breathe in again. Repeat this for as many times that you feel. You can find your stress will gradually ease. Another one that I like is take a deep breath, count to 5, purse your lips as though you're going to kiss somebody,
Okay.
and out very, very slowly, as slowly as you can. You've heard of this one. Very, very slowly, as slowly as you can, and repeat that as many times as you feel you need at that particular time, just to deplete that stress from your system, from your mind. You can do this at any time. The 4x4 method, you can do, nobody will know you're doing it. It's a very, very good thing to do. You'll find that this will really help your stress levels, bring them right down.
So I want to get back to something that you were mentioning. So you started talking about a few things really impacting us negatively. And you started talking about kind of negative thoughts, negative energy, and judgments, and the fact that when we're judgmental, that really impacts us. Are the negative thoughts, are these the main things? Are there other things that really prevent us and that from kind of achieving this health and well-being, or is it really the negativity the core thing?
Negativity is a very important thing, but having said that, one of the most important things, of course, are diet and lifestyle. If we eat a clean diet, free of processed foods, hydration is extremely important. Restful sleep, again, is very, very important. And hydration, I think I mentioned before,
right.
very important. I think they say 95% of people throughout the Western world are dehydrated at any time. Drink water. If you don't like the taste of water itself, add a slice of lemon, give it a little flavor. Or children, add a strawberry in, and it'll just that little bit of flavor to the water. I found a lot of children love that. So important, that hydration thing. Exercise is another one. It's huge. Even if you're a little incapacitated, you can exercise in your chair. There's a lot of things on the internet where you can achieve that. Chair yoga is one. This is also wonderful for spiritual practice as well. Yoga, Qigong, Tai Chi, very, very well accepted, well used, and bring a great deal of stress relief to many, many people. They're becoming more popular too.
All right. So a lot of the things I'm listening to some of the things you're saying. So it sounds like a lot of the things in terms of that are preventing us are things we're not doing. We're not eating well. We're not eating the right things. We're not exercising regularly. We're not sleeping well. These are a lot of the things that we're doing that are keeping us from achieving kind of health and well-being. And
yes.
And these are things that I think a lot of people preach as well. But I know you also talk about kind of little known blocks and challenges, which ultimately lead to disease and illness. So what are some of these little known blocks and challenges that can lead to disease and illness?
I think, again, going back to emotional things, is one of the biggest things I see is anger, regret, resentment. Some of these, they might have been there even since childhood. If you were teased as a child at school or as a teenager, you store these emotions. I see a lot of them in people's livers, and it makes them feel unwell. You might have heard the saying, I feel a bit liverish. Your liver is not coping well, not only with the food that you give it, but with the emotions you've got stored there. So important to let these toxic emotions go. It can also affect your kidneys. I've seen that a lot in clients. Kidneys, you can see them sort of the regret. You see them crying. They're very, very not coping well. Your bodily organs don't cope well. Your heart doesn't cope well with sadness and grief. We all have grief in our lives. A dear one might have passed on, or a partnership might have separated.
Sure.
There's many, many things in life that cause grief. It's good to work through it, but when you've worked through it, it's wonderful to let it go.
Right.
Let it go.
So it's interesting. So the blocks in many cases that you see that are leading to disease and illness are a lot of psychological blocks. So you mentioned things like anger and resentment, in terms of regret, things like that, things like grief. So these are things that typically people consider emotional issues. But
yes.
What you're seeing is these emotional issues are almost all of them having some physical impact, some physical manifestation, and in many cases, some significant physical manifestation. You mentioned liver, kidney. So these are literally leading to disease and illness. These kind of emotional issues.
Yes, they are. Yes. There's a saying also, thoughts become things, choose the good ones. I believe Mike Dooley made that one famous. Your thoughts can create illness also. Your emotions create illness, as do your physical things, the diet and the lifestyle that we've already mentioned. But emotions and thoughts and back on things that you may have done, you regret, you need to let them.
So let's talk a little bit more about stress. So we talked a little bit about stress before. So what effect does stress have on our lives? What are you seeing the impact of stress for people?
I see a lot of people who are chronically stressed. A lot of people they become very emotionally unstable. They can become irritable, too much to do, overwhelm. They become emotionally unstable, maybe is not quite the right word, but they have a low mood. They can become depressed. I can't cope with all this. It's overwhelm. The chronic stress goes on as we get older. And as we get older, it's more difficult to cope with. When you're young, sometimes you can cope really well with multiple stress. It's an adrenaline fix. But as you grow older, it bears down on you. It's like a huge weight on your shoulders.
Right.
Too much to cope with.
Yeah, I would imagine it's cumulative also. It adds up over time and over the years and the more.
It does. It's cumulative. So this is why I stress at any age, even though we start at a young age with the stress, as we mature, as we get older, it bears down on us even more heavily. Difficult to cope with.
All right. So I want to step back to something you mentioned earlier. So earlier you started talking about meditation and the power of meditation. So can you step us through a little bit more about how meditation can help us with our wellness journey?
Yes. It calms us. It calms our mind. I mentioned before, it helps with high blood pressure. It helps with sleep. It also helps with your immune system. Your immune system can be boosted by a continued meditation practice. Just a few minutes each day. There are so many benefits to meditation. It helps you think more clearly. It clears brain fog. That's a big one, because a lot of people, when you're in overwhelm, you can't cope and your brain gets, I can't cope with this.
Sure.
It's too much. Yeah.
All right. So I can see the power of that. Now, I know you have some things that you consider daily practices. How can we help with our own wellness on a daily basis? So the daily practices are the things that you're recommending that we do weekly. What do you recommend?
I recommend the first thing is hydration. Make sure that you're well hydrated. Your brain can function better. Your brain is composed of nearly 90% of water anyway. It needs to be fed the water. A good, clean diet is the second thing. A spiritual connection is very important with whatever resonates with you. I also recommend a life goal. Something you'd like to achieve in your life. It might only be small, doesn't matter, just something to work towards. You wake up each day and think, another step on this journey of my life goal. Another thing I recommend is social contact. Very important at any age, with friends, with a community that you belong to. It's important for our well-being to have a social group or a social contact with people. Loneliness is another thing that is hugely, so many people are lonely these days, even in big cities, probably even more so than in the countryside. Country people tend to have a better connection than in the city. So loneliness is another one. Those are the things. Another thing I do recommend is energy healing. And this is not only for healing, but as a preventative modality. I found this extremely beneficial. People that have gone through the medical system and they haven't either gained any benefit from what ails them, or they just can't cope with the medication that they've been given. Energy healing is a huge benefit to anybody, whether it's preventative or it's healing as such.
All right, you've talked about a lot of different things, different modalities, different practices, different things. What do you consider the most important thing that people can do to help ensure vibrant health and vitality at any age? That's kind of the core opening question. So what's the most important thing people could do?
Gratitude. If we wake up each day with a feeling of victim mode, oh, things are awful, I can't cope, gratitude for what you do have. And again, I'll refer back to that gratitude journal.
Mm-hmm.
Just little things in your life that you're grateful for. Even if you have a good sense of smell, eyesight, all your senses, even gratitude for those each day. I think,
right.
Yes, and I've got my mobility.
Mm-hmm.
So important too. And that will raise your vibration. Very important.
I like it. I'm a big believer in the value of gratitude. So one of the things I've been seeing as you've been talking today is there's really a wide range of practices of things people can do, and also gave us an understanding of what's causing a lot of illness and a lot of things that we're doing wrong. But you've really discussed quite a few different practices and different ways of taking care of ourselves, both physical ways and spiritual ways. So there's different practices. And I know that you work with people directly and you have some programs and some things. So can you tell us a little bit about your services? What do you do when you work with people to help keep them on track to, I would imagine, to do a lot of the things and to come out with a game plan based on where they are? So tell us a little bit about your practices. And before you do, I just want to remind people to get information about Diana and her programs. It's beingnaturallyhealthy.com. Just www.beingnaturallyhealthy.com. All right, jump in. So tell us a little bit more about what you do and your products and services.
I am primarily a medical intuitive energy healer. Most of my clients come to me for that specifically. But in the sessions, I incorporate messages I'm given or helpful things they can do to help their own healing journey. Everybody needs to participate, not just sit there and think, oh yeah, I'm going to be healed, which you are, but on an ongoing basis, people need to participate to make sure that they are doing everything they can. Just even, for example, oh, I'm feeling thirsty. I feel you need to drink more water.
Right.
Or I get messages and I get insights into how they can help themselves on their own healing journey. With consultations on wellness, this can include both physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual help according to what each client needs. Some people just come to me just for emotional help. They've either had a bereavement or a separation, or they can't get their lives together.
Mm-hmm.
I can help them to just get themselves back on track.
Okay, sounds good. And I just want to repeat for everybody, the website is www.beingnaturallyhealthy.com. And you can also reach Diana. All the information for contacting her is there. Her Skype, I think your Skype address is there. The best ways to reach you are on that site. So beingnaturallyhealthy.com. And we're going to just about wrap up. Do you want to share any final words? Or first, if there's any other ways to contact you, any other information you want to share? And then if you want to just give us any final words for our audience.
Yes, I think all my contact information is there. My email address, my Skype address. And, I think the final words would be to look at your life. Just look at what you feel you need in your life out of any of the things I might have mentioned or some things I might not have mentioned. Don't hesitate to contact me. I can always, if you wish, give you information or help without any obligation. I'm really happy to do that.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Thank you very much, Diana. You shared a lot of information. Make sure to reach out to her for any questions you have about anything she's doing. If you have any issues relative to, we talked about physical health, spiritual health, emotional, make sure to reach out to Diana. She's a wealth of information from really a wide variety of backgrounds. And Diana, I want to thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, David. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And I want to thank everybody for listening. And I want to wish everybody great success in all areas of your life. We'll talk to everybody soon. Okay. Take care.
Thank you. Bye now.